Hey everybody, it's Critical True Crime here with Emily. Brandon just had a little family emergency, but I did not um, want to leave anybody hanging. I wanted to just read a couple of court documents real fast and tell the story in a quick 5-minute version so people can come back to take a look. And we will reschedule our live together a different night. But I am going to add his GoFundMe in the description of the video in case anybody wants to donate. This Jeremy Wilson did get him fired from his job. So I do want to include that. And then also the family emergency and Christmas and everything else on top of it. So just quickly, I would like to share a few documents, and I will read the court documents between Jeremy Wilson, Dinesh, and Brandon. And then like I said, we're going to reschedule our live, so we will be back another time for the full fundraiser live stream that we're doing for him. So I'm going to just quickly read through the documents and maybe catch your interest in this case. So the quick elevator pitch version of this case is there is a convicted sex offender living in Nebraska, in Omaha, Nebraska. And he is he had 125,000 TikTok followers. He is using his TikTok and using it to talk about his daughter's disability. She has autism. She's also half Black, and I just mentioned that because he is white and apparently allegedly racist. So he has done, I have another video about it, and I covered the video that Dinesh did. But basically he was, he's a convicted sex offender and has been with multiple underage girls, and currently has another sex offender living with him. And he's got 125,000 TikTok followers. He did get his TikTok taken down, but at one point had 125,000 TikTok followers. Is trying to build his following now, again on YouTube as Super Dad Official. And he's trying to sue anybody that decides to talk about it. He's suing Brandon and he's suing Dinesh, and that's why I wanted to read those court documents real fast. And he's also doubling down on his grossness. He's taking cameras to his school, to his kid's school and everything. It's just really gross. Also has tried to dox me in my chat before, but I'm not going to let him get me down. So just quickly, I'm going to read through some documents and then I'm going to hop off here. And like I said, we're going to reschedule with Brandon for another time. This is the lawsuit, complaint for libel and slander. Plaintiff Jeremy Wilson, for his complaint against defendant Brandon Taylor, states as follows. 1. Parties, jurisdiction, and venue. Plaintiff Jeremy Wilson is an individual residing in Douglas County, Nebraska. Brandon Taylor is an individual who, upon information and belief, resides in or has substantial contacts in Douglas County, Nebraska. The acts and communications giving rise to this lawsuit occurred in whole or in part in Douglas County, Nebraska. The county has jurisdiction over the subject matter and parties pursuant to Nebraska, blah, 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 as the amount in controversy exceeds the jurisdictional minimum for civil actions. I'm just going to double check that I am not screen sharing. Sorry about that. At least I was reading it. Allegations. Beginning on or about September 20th, defendant Brandon Taylor began posting videos and statements publicly online and through social media accounts visible to hundreds of followers and potentially more members of the public. In these videos and statements, defendant makes false and misleading claims regarding plaintiff's past criminal history, implying or asserting that plaintiff had committed serious or ongoing criminal acts that are untrue. And that is very true. It's not untrue. So I don't know what he's talking about there. 8, defendant exaggerated and misrepresented plaintiff's past record in a way that falsely portrayed plaintiff as a dangerous or currently involved in criminal conduct. 9, defendant further encouraged others to harass plaintiff by contacting his daughter's school, local police, and the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services based on these false or distorted claims, which is bullcrap because all the claims are true, and he was trying to warn the school that Superdad was trying to record him. 10, defendant's statements were false, malicious, and made with reckless disregard for the truth. 11, plaintiff acknowledges having a past criminal record. However, the statements made by the defendant go far beyond the truth and are defamatory in nature. 12, as a direct and proximate result of defendant's actions, plaintiff has suffered severe harm to his reputation, humiliation, emotional distress, and interference with his family and community relationships. Cause of action, libel, written defamation. Yeah, it's really crazy, Rotstar. It's pretty nuts. I love your doggy. It's a picture of your doggy. Let's see. Plaintiff realleges and incorporates paragraphs 1 through 12. 14. Defendant published false and misleading statements about plaintiff online, including exaggerations and fabrications regarding plaintiff's criminal record and personal conduct. 15. These statements were defamatory because they falsely portrayed plaintiff as engaging in criminal activity or behavior that is not true. 16. Plaintiff has suffered reputational harm, emotional distress, and other damages as a result. And that is false because he got his TikTok taken down because it was against terms of service for him to be an offender and be on TikTok. It is not because anything Brandon did. Count 2, slander, oral defamation. 17. Plaintiff realleges and incorporates paragraphs 1 through 16. 18. Defendant made false and misleading verbal statements about plaintiff to others, including claims that misrepresented plaintiff's past and falsely suggested current and ongoing criminal behavior. 19. These statements were heard by others and caused serious and measurable harm to plaintiff's reputation. 20. Defendant acted willfully, maliciously, and with reckless regard for the truth. 4. Damages. As a result of the defendant's false statements, plaintiff has suffered A, damage to his personal and professional reputation, which is bullshit because if anything, Brandon has suffered damages. B, emotional distress and mental anguish. C, loss of standing in the community. He did that to himself by getting an S offense. D, expenses associated with defending his reputation and ensuring his family and his family's safety. 22. Plaintiff seeks compensatory damages in the amount to be determined at trial, believed to exceed $10,000. 23. Further, plaintiff seeks punitive damages to deter such malicious conduct in the future. 4. Prayer for relief, wherefore Jeremy Wilson respectfully requests that court A, enter a judgment in his favor against Brandon, or B, award compensatory damages in the amount to be determined at trial. C, award punitive damages. D, order defendant to remove all defamatory material from online platforms. E, enjoin defendant from making or publishing further false statements about plaintiff. F, award costs of this action and other relief as the court deems just and proper. Let's see this other document. Yeah, I know. It's really messed up. He has custody of a special needs daughter, and he doesn't take care of her hair or anything, and it makes me so sad for her. I'm just sharing public court documents, Superdad. Superdad's in the chat. I don't know, but Brandon should countersue. Let's see. In the District Court of Douglas County, Nebraska, Jeremy Wilson, individually and on behalf of his minor daughter, A.W., plaintiffs, Dinesh, Brandon Taylor, so he's suing all these people, I guess, complaint, motion for temporary restraining order, and motion for preliminary and permanent injunction. Yeah, I hope Brandon will countersue. That's what we got his GoFundMe for. So, hang on one second. My dog's licking. I gotta make her stop. All right, sorry. See, you're back there licking. Okay. Complaint, motion for temporary restraining order and motion for preliminary and permanent injunction. Plaintiffs, Jeremy Wilson individually and on behalf of his daughter, allege as follows. 1. Jurisdiction and venue. This court has jurisdiction over the subject matter and the parties. Venue is proper in Douglas County because plaintiffs reside here. Hang on one second. My girl, she just addicted to licking her paws. And there's nothing I can do about it. She loves it. Okay. Jurisdiction and venue. This court has jurisdiction over the subject matter and the parties. Venue in Douglas County because plaintiffs reside here and the injuries occurred here. Jeremy Wilson is a resident of Douglas County, Nebraska. And also, Super Dad, just so you know, you're on the sex offender registry list, so all your information is public. Dumbass. Plaintiff A.W. is a minor daughter, and go get your daughter's hair done, please. You're pathetic. Defendant Dinesh is an individual who publishes content on social media platforms. Defendant Brandon is an individual who publishes content on social media platforms. Google does business as YouTube, TikTok. Okay, background of facts. Defendants have published multiple videos and posts, YouTube, TikTok, Insta, Facebook, and other platforms that identify or depict plaintiffs. Yeah. The videos contain false and defamatory statements about Jeremy Wilson, including misleading claims about his history. I'm guessing that's supposed to say criminal history and court matters, as well as direct or indirect references to his daughter. Yeah. Sorry, I got distracted. The videos and posts have shown or referred to AW's school, her likeness, and family circumstances without something. These acts have led to harassment, emotional distress, and interference with the minor's education and safety. Yeah, I wonder about all those minors that you were trying to record on your meta glasses, how they felt about that. Plaintiffs are informed and believed based on publicly available information that Dinesh has named in one or more civil suits and in federal state courts alleging similar conduct involving doxing, dissemination of false information, and harassment. Plaintiffs are further informed and believe that he has been referenced in criminal investigations in Texas reportedly under review by a grand jury. Both defendants have publicly admitted to publishing or sharing content about plaintiff, but that their actions were protected by free speech. Plaintiff asserts that their conduct exceeds the bounds of protected expression and constitutes targeted harassment and defamation without any legitimate purpose. I mean, there's a purpose. People are trying to be warned about this freak. Cause of action, defamation, libel per se, invasion of privacy, harassment and intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligent and intentional endangerment of a minor's safety, relief sought. Plaintiffs do not seek damages from the platform operators based on user content, but request injunctive enforcement of the court's order to remove URLs identified in exhibits and prevent re-uploads pending final judgment. Irreplaceable harm. The harm to plaintiff is immediate, ongoing, irreparable, involving threats, harassment, emotional distress, particularly to a minor child. Having you as a dad isn't enough emotional distress. It's probably all the emotional distress you can take. So they want a temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction ordering defendant to remove, disable, and I guess not repost any videos, posts, or statements referring to plaintiffs or their family. What about your 125,000 followers that you're posting to every fucking day? And then he signs it. Under penalty of perjury. Well, hopefully you don't perjure yourself. That'd be a shame if you did that. All right. Well, go give Super Dad a big fuck you for me. And whenever Brandon gets back, we will go over a lot of this guy's bullshit he's been on, and see what he's been up to lately, trying to get a restraining order against Brandon because he's a big pussy. Because Super Dad said he wanted to talk to Brandon, and he showed up, and Super Dad was afraid, I guess. So we will reschedule this. If you have it in your heart, go to the GoFundMe and send a donation his way because he could use it because Super Dad got him fired. So you guys have a good evening. Thank you for stopping in. And I hope Brandon is taking care of himself. Bye.